How's it going, everybody? Rachel West and Rick Stroud here. And Rick, I heard there's like a big football game or something happening in town here later today. I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, Super Bowl 55. I mean, we're finally here. It seems like, well, we go all the way back to the off season, right? When they talked about, the Super Bowl being in Tampa, Tom Brady, could they make it? And it's been really a storybook season to see if they can write the last chapter correctly. But quite an amazing season and a great matchup with Kansas City.
So yeah, let's talk Super Bowl 55 and let's talk Tom Brady. He's obviously one of the big reasons that this team is in the position that they're in here today. And I mean, if the previous 9 Super Bowls didn't prove it enough, it's all the little details, right, that kind of make him into the player he is and the GOAT that he is today.
Yeah, I wrote about that in the Tampa Bay Times on Sunday. I mean, he is somebody that really goes over every possible scenario from, how to what the footballs are going to react to in terms of different weather conditions and different grips and things like that. All the way to, the beginning of the season, even with this pandemic and changing teams, he told General Manager Jason Licht pretty much exactly how he expected the season to go. And it played out just that way. He figured they'd get off to a little bit of a slow start, maybe hit some bumps in the middle of the year. And then he said, as we get to the end of the year in December, we'll start to hit our stride and see what we can do in the playoffs. And then everything pretty much came to pass that way. And that just shows the experience that he has. 20 seasons, he's gone to a Super Bowl almost every other year. But to do it in the first year with all the things against him, no preseason, the pandemic, a new offense, all these new players, is something that I don't think we'll appreciate for a long time, not the least of which is he's 43 years old. I mean, who can play football, much less play it at this level at 43? So we're watching something that's remarkable. But on the other side, Kansas City has a special player in Pat Mahomes as well.
Right. And we all know the story between the matchup of Brady and Mahomes. We know what each of those guys bring to the table. But what are some of the other key matchups in the game that we all should be looking out for?
Well, football, they always say if you watch the ball, you miss the game. And so I think you have to watch the offensive and defensive lines, particularly the offensive line of Kansas City, which is really, sort of beat up. I mean, when you're talking about, them having Mike Remmers having to move now from right tackle to left tackle. I mean, they lost their best player and Eric Fisher at left tackle with an Achilles injury in the AFC Championship game. You've got other players having to move from inside to outside. So anytime you have injuries at that side of the ball, it's really difficult to try to function, quite frankly. And now you're going against the Tampa Bay defensive line that is really humming, right? I mean, Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul combined for 5 sacks against a mobile quarterback in Aaron Rodgers a week ago. And now you also have, and the biggest reason for it might be Vita Vea, a guy that came back off of injury just in time for that championship game, played 33 snaps. He really pushes the pocket with Ndamukong Suh. There's nowhere for the quarterback to step up. And I really think that matchup, because Vita did not play against the Kansas City Chiefs in the first game, is going to be really something to watch. Somebody's defense has to stop one of these high-powered offenses. And when you do, either getting a turnover or a big play, that's going to be the team that wins.
Exactly. And so you touched on some of the Chiefs' injuries that they're dealing with. And on the flip side, the Bucs are dealing with some injuries of their own. So what's the update on the status of those guys?
Well, they only got 2 guys that are questionable, right? I mean, one of them is Antonio Brown, who did an awful lot this week, really was full participation by the end of the week. His knee looks very sound, according to Bruce Arians. And then, Cameron Brate late in the week had a bit of a back strain during practice. He did finish the practice. They kind of held him out on Friday, which is more of a walkthrough. I totally expect him to be fine for the game. The 2 safeties, Antoine Winfield Jr., who didn't play in the championship game with the ankle, he will be back. And so will Jordan Whitehead, although it'll be interesting to see after contact how Whitehead holds up. He had a non-contact jersey on him all week long because of that shoulder. So it's not until he actually, lays the lumber, as they say, that he's going to figure out whether he's going to go or not. But I can tell you this is the Super Bowl. You'd have to be really hurt. They might have to saw off a limb before somebody's not going to play this game. So I expect all those guys to be back and then playing at 100%.
Yeah, something tells me they'll definitely all be out there at all costs here. So we'll see if today's the day that the Bucs do it for the second time in history. If they can get the job done and win the Super Bowl in their hometown, it would be crazy. The story, you can't write it any better. But everyone, be sure you're following along with all the coverage we got for you today. Follow Rick on Twitter, follow our Sports by Tampa Bay Times Twitter, and make sure you're checking out tampabay.com for all of our wall-to-wall Super Bowl coverage.